Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Strategic Management. My name is Dr. Mohammed Alwishi, and I'm excited to guide you through this transformative course. Today, we'll be beginning a journey that will fundamentally change how you think about your creative career. This isn't just another theoretical business course. This is about your future, your success, and your ability to navigate the complex world of creative professions with confidence and purpose. Now let's move to course outline. Before we dive in, let me give you a roadmap of where we're going. This course is organized into four distinct chapters. Chapter one is called The Hidden Power, where we will discover why strategic thinking is your secret weapon in creative field. Chapter two, Mapping the Terrain. We will teach you how to analyze both your environment and your own capabilities. Chapter 3, Crafting the Master Plan, shows you how to develop actual strategies that work. And finally, Chapter 4, the Strategic Writer's Toolkit, gives you specialized tools for navigating the digital age. Each chapter builds on the previous one. So by the end, you'll have a complete strategic framework for your career. Now let's move to chapter 3, talking about strategic management, crafting your narrative in a chaotic world. Welcome to the first year English department's introduction to strategic management. Now you might be wondering, why does an English student need to study strategic management? Isn't this a business topic? Here's the truth. This course will equip you with the fundamental principles and practices that guide successful organizations and successful individuals through turbulent times. Whether you're aspiring to be an author, editor, publisher, or media professional, the strategic thinking skills you'll develop here will become your compass when navigating your career journey. The world is chaotic, unpredictable, and constantly changing. A strategy is where and what helps you craft your own narrative within that chaos rather than becoming a victim of it. The danger of drifting blockbuster 2000. Let me tell you a story that perfectly illustrates what happens when organizations and individuals lack a strategic vision. The business landscape is littered with cautionary tales of giants who failed to adapt, but perhaps none is more dramatic than Blockbuster. In the year 2000, Blockbuster was at its absolute peak, a $60 billion entertainment empire. They had 9,000 stores worldwide. If you wanted to watch a movie at home, you went to Blockbuster. They were cinemas with home entertainment. The same year, a tiny startup called Netflix, which was just mailing DVDs to people, approached the Blockbuster with an offer: buy us for $50 million. Blockbuster's executives laughed them out of the room. They thought Netflix was a joke. This single decision, this failure to think strategically about where the industry was heading, would prove catastrophically sophisticated. Keep this moment in mind as we continue the story. Now let's go to the danger of drafting Blockbuster 2004. By 2004, Blockbuster finally woke up to the threat. They saw Netflix growing and decided to fight back. They belatedly launched their own online DVD rental service to compete. But here is a problem. They were already years behind Netflix's growing subscriber base. Netflix had first to move advantage. They had refined their systems. They had customers' loyalty. They had data about viewing habits. Blockbuster was playing catch up, and in fast-moving industries, playing catch up is usually a losing game. They were reacting instead of anticipating. They where following instead of leading. This is what happens when you lack strategic foresight. You're always one step behind, always responding to what others have already done. The danger of drafting Blockbuster 2010. Now we reach the tragic conclusion by 2010, just 10 years after rejecting Netflix, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy protection. Their once vast network of 9,000 stores rapidly collapsed to just a single located in Bend, Oregon. Today, that one remaining Blockbuster store existed as a nostalgic curiosity, almost like a museum to buy or to a bygone era. Think about this. In just one decade, a $6 billion empire was reduced to essentially nothing. This wasn't because of a lack of resources. Blockbusters had billions. It wasn't because of a lack of brand recognition. Everyone knew Blockbuster. It was because of the lack of strategic vision and adaptability. Now let's go to the danger of drafting the lesson. This stark lesson reverberates through every industry without strategic vision and adaptability. Even seemingly invincible market leaders can collapse with breathtaking speed. Blockbuster thought they were too big to fail. They thought their physical stores were an unbeatable advantage. They thought customers would always want to browse aisles of DVDs. They were wrong about all of it. The ability to anticipate change rather than merely react to it separates survivors from casualties in our rapidly evolving world. And here is what I need you to understand. This isn't just about big corporations. This same principle applies to your career as a writer, editor, or creative professional. Without strategic thinking, you too can become obsolete regardless of how talented you are. This is why we're here. This is why strategy matters. Now let's go to chapter one, the hidden power. Now we begin chapter one, the hidden power. In this chapter, we are going to explore the invisible force that separates successful creative professionals from talented people who never quit, make it, or quite make it. That force is strategic thinking. It's hidden because you cannot see it directly. You can only see its effects. When you read a best-selling novel, you don't see the strategic decisions behind it. When you observe successful writers' career, you do not see the strategic planning that shaped it, but it's the working behind the scenes, creating successes that looks like luck or talent to outside observers. We're going to pull back the curtain and reveal this hidden power so you can harness it yourself. Now let's go to the labyrinth of uncertainty. We begin our journey by acknowledging a fundamental truth facing every organization and every individual. Uncertainty is inevitable. The path before us twists and turn, obscured by the fog of incomplete information and rapid change. You do not know which publisher will accept your manuscript. You do not know which writing platform will dominate in 5 years. You do not know how AI will transform your profession next year. You don't know which genre will be hot and which will go called. This is the labyrinth we all navigate, a maze of uncertainty where you cannot see around the next corner. In this chapter, we explore why strategic thinking is essential for navigating this labyrinth and how it transforms random wandering into purposeful progress strategy doesn't eliminate uncertainty that's impossible, but it gives you tools to navigate uncertainty with confidence and purpose. Now let's move to the next slide, the ship without the compass introduction. Imagine a ship with the finest crew, the strongest hull, and the most beautiful sails, yet without a compass or map. Despite all its strengths, it drifts aimlessly at the mercy of currents and winds, never reaching any destination. This is a perfect metaphor for talented individuals. Without strategy, you might have incredible writing ability. That's your strong hull. You might have creativity and passion. Those are your beautiful sails. You might even have support from friends and family. That's your crew, but without strategic direction, without a compass pointing you toward your goals, you will drift. You will work hard but go nowhere in particular. You will be busy but not productive. You will have activity but not progress. Now let's move to the ship without a compass, a sun, Tizu quote. So the ancient military strategist Sun Tzu to said it perfectly. A strategy without tactics, the slowest route to victory. Tactics without strategy, the noise before defeat. Let me break this down. Tactics are your day-to-day actions, writing a chapter, sending a letter, posting on social media. Strategy is your overall plan, your vision, your positioning, your long-term direction. If you have strategy but no tactics, you have beautiful plans that never get executed. Progress is slow, but if you have tactics without strategy, and this is what most people do, you have lots of activity that doesn't lead anywhere. It's a noise before defeat. You're busy, 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 but you're not actually winning. You need both strategy to give direction and tactics to move you forward in that direction. Now let's move to the ship without a compass, why strategy matters. So the ship with a compass, the creatives challenge for those in creative fields, writers, editors, the content creators. This challenge is particularly acute. How do you transform raw passion and creative energy into purposeful impact? You love writing, but how do you turn that love into career? How do you decide which projects to pursue and which to abandon? You have ideas for 10 novels, three screenplays, a memoir, and a poetry collection. Which do you actually work on? How do you build a coherent body of work rather than a scattered collection of efforts? Without strategy, creative people often jump from project to project, chasing whatever feels exciting in the moment, never building momentum. in a direction. They have fragments of many things about complete nothing. Strategy solving or strategy solve this problem by helping you make international choices or intentional choices about where to focus your limited time and energy. Now let's move to um, tell you that the show without a compass from script to bestseller. Consider the journey from a disorganized manuscript sitting in your drawer to a bestsellers or best-selling series that changes people's lives and supports your career. What makes the difference? Most people think it's talent. She's just more talented than me, but that's really the full story. Difference isn't merely talent, it's a strategic vision that shapes the talent into something the world embraces. Strategy is the unseen architect behind every successful creative endeavor. It determines which story you tell, how you position it in the market, who your target audience is, how you will reach them, what your unique angle is, and how this project fits into your broader career plan. Talent gets you to the starting line, strategy win the race. Now let's go to Netflix's 100 billion dollar transformation 1997. Now let's look at the opposite of blockbuster failure, Netflix's strategic masterclass. In 1997, was founded on a single innovative idea: DVD by mail rentals for $4 each, challenging blockbusters hated late fee model. This was strategic thinking from day one. The founders, Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph, identified a pain point. Customers hated late fees and built a business model around solving it. No late fees. Flat monthly subscription DVDs delivered to your mailbox. This was their entry point into the market. They didn't try to out blockbuster by opening more stores. They changed the game entirely. This is strategic thinking, finding a different way to compete, identifying and opening your competitors have left undefended. Now to go to the year 2007. In 2007, Netflix made one of the gutsiest strategies pivots in business history. They moved to streaming, betting on emerging technology and internet infrastructure that wasn't yet mainstream. Think about the courage this required. Their DVD by email business was successful and profitable. Most companies would protect that success, milk it for as long as possible, but Netflix's leaders understood that streaming was a future and they needed to lead that transition rather than be disrupted by it. They were willing to cannibalize their own successful business model. This is incredibly difficult emotionally, organizationally, financially, but it's what separates strategic leaders from reactive followers. They didn't wait until streaming destroyed their DVD business. They destroyed it themselves and built streaming in its place. Now let's move to 2013 and 2016. By 2013, Netflix launched House of Cards as their first major original content production, a transformation from a distribution platform to a content creator. Again, this was strategic thinking. They realized that or licensing content from studios was expensive and risky. Studios could revoke licenses or raise prices, so Netflix decided to create their own content, which they could own forever. They transformed from a middleman into a creator. Then in 2016, they expanded globally to 190 countries in a single day. While competitors remained domestically focused, Netflix pursued international growth aggressively. Each of these moves was strategic, not reactive, not forced by circumstances, but proactive choices to shape their future. Now let's go to 2024. By 2024, Netflix reached over $100 billion in market capitalization with 260 million plus subscribers worldwide, fundamentally reshaping global entertainment. Remember, this is the same company that Blockbuster refused to buy for $50 million in 2000. That $50 million startup is now worth $100 billion. A 2000 times increase. This isn't luck. This is the result of consistent, disciplined, strategic thinking over more than 2 decades. Every major decision Netflix made was strategic. The shift to streaming, the move into original content, the global expansion, even recent decisions about password sharing and advertising title strategy creates value. Strategy builds empires. Now let's move to Netflix's 100 billion transformation key lessons. So Netflix demonstrated perhaps the most important lesson in strategic management: the willingness to cannibalize your own successful business model before competitors do it for you. Their transition from DVD rentals to streaming wasn't made under duress. It was a proactive, strategic choice to shape the future rather than be victimized by it. For creative professionals, this case study offers a powerful template. Anticipate changes in your field, be willing to evolve your skills and offerings, and sometimes abandon the very approaches that brought your initial success. If you're a print journalist, maybe you need to learn video and podcasting. If you're a novelist, maybe you need to understand transmedia storytelling. If you write in one genre, maybe you need to expand your range. Do not wait until change is forced upon you. Anticipate it and lead it. Now let's move to what is strategic management definition. So after all these examples, let me give you a formal definition. Strategic management is not about predicting the future. It's about creating it. This is crucial. Many people think strategy is about forecasting, trying to guess what will happen and preparing for it. But that's not quite right. Strategy is more active than that. It's about making choices today that shape your tomorrow. Whether whether you aspire to be a novelist, editor, publisher, journalist, or content creator, strategic thinking transforms random activity into purposeful progress. Without strategy, you're just busy. With strategy, you're building towards something specific. You're creating your future rather than hoping for a good future to happen to you. Now, let's move to what is strategic management, your your blueprint for success. Academic definition. As it's called, strategic management is the art and the science of formulating, implementing, and evaluating cross-functional decisions that enable an organization to achieve its objectives. Let me break that down. Formulating means creating your strategy, deciding where you want to go, and how you will get the implementing means executing that strategy, actually doing the future or the work. Evaluating means assessing whether your strategy is working and adjusting if necessary. It involves analyzing both the external environment, what's happening in the world around you, and international capabilities, what resources and strengths you have. The goal is to make choices that create sustainable competitive advantage, something that makes you uniquely valuable in a way that's hard for others to copy. Now let's move to the creative professionals part one. But what does this mean for you as a student of English and aspiring professional in the creative industries? Strategic management is about defining your goals, understanding your environment, and making deliberate choices to achieve your desired future. Specifically, it means crafting a clear vision of where you want to be in 5 to 10 years, not vague dreams like I want to be successful or I want to be a published author. I mean specific vivid images. I want to be a best-selling, yeah, fantasy and author with a Netflix adaptation, or I want to be the editor in chief of a magic or of a major literary magazine, or I want to run an independent publishing house focused on marginalized voices. The more specific your vision, the more actionable it becomes. It also means analyzing market trends and reader preferences in your genre or field. What's rising, what's declining, where are the white spaces, undeserved audiences, or untold stories. Now let's move to the next slide, talking about the creative professionals part two. Strategic management also means identifying your unique strengths and developing them systematically. What makes you indispensable? Maybe you have an unusual life experience that gives you unique perspectives. Maybe you have a distinctive voice that readers immediately recognize. Maybe you have deep expertise in a specialized subject. Maybe you are exceptionally good at building community or networking. Whatever your unique advantage is, a strategy means identifying it and investing in it deliberately. It means making difficult trade-offs about how to allocate your limited time and resources. You cannot do everything. Every yes to one project is a no to countless others. Should you write short stories or focus on your novel? Should you build your social media presence or focus purely on craft? Should you seek traditional publishing or go in die? These trade-offs are unavoidable, and strategy gives you a framework for making these difficult choices. Finally, it means building a cohesive body of work rather than pursuing random opportunities. Your portfolio should tell a coherent or a coherent story about who you are and what you stand for. So we will stop here and we'll continue inshallah tomorrow, starting from chapter 2, mapping the Turan. Until tomorrow, that's for now.